Right, I just wanted to record this quick video. It's called The Last Topper. That is in recognition of something that happened at Entertainment UK, Greenford, which has now closed down, I believe, a week ago. So there ends Entertainment UK, I guess. And The Last Topper refers to something that two of the colleagues that worked there, Lance and Richard, who had this term for calling each other Topper. And I don't really know where they got it from. I don't even know if they know where they got it from. I think a British comic was called Topper. And I know in Charles Dickens there's a character called Topper in there. So I don't know where this Topper thing comes from. If you do, then you can tell me. Anyway, so when I joined Special Services from Sources, there was this, eventually people started saying, was I going to be a topper? Especially the engineers. There was a whole campaign to make me a topper. And Richard used to call me Topper all the time, even though he said he wasn't going to, couldn't help it. And I said that if they called me Topper within 10 times each, then I was a topper, because they didn't want to make me a topper. And after, Richard said Topper like within a few weeks, 10 times, if not more, and that was really amusing and really annoyed Lance. And it was, and Lance only said it once in about 8 months, 6 months, something like that. And then towards the end, he said it about 2 or 3 more times, and then he decided, okay, I'm a topper. So officially, as far as their tenure of working there, which were over 20 years together, I think there were a few other toppers as well, but that makes me the last topper. So that's what this video is in reference of. So I at least take that with me. I wonder if I can put that on my CV. Do you think that would get me a job? So yeah, I must admit I still do dream of Entertainment UK, and I don't know what that means. Strange dreams, actually. I know I had one today that had Richard in it, and it had no, what was his name? He was the union guy. But I don't remember, what was his name? I can't even remember how it sounded now. James, and he was telling me that I was going to be the new union rep or something. Yeah, I think it was in a bid to get me a job, maybe. I used to do a lot of, I was never part of the union, but I used to do stuff for them, which I really enjoyed, like making posters. That was, there was 2 times we had these thank you days at Greenford, where I made these posters for them, and I used to make poems. I think 2 times the last 2 years that we had them. I have the poem somewhere, and I know the last one had a reference. It was a clever reference to the fact that we weren't given some bonus or something, and it was a veiled clever comment somewhere in there. It was quite subtle, I believe. I don't think anyone noticed it. Well, it got put up, so I don't know if but yeah, those in the days of Tony Vaughan, who was both loved and loathed by some. But he was a character, and it was sad. That's the funny thing about when you have managers, actually, and I don't know if anyone else notices this, that sometimes you don't like them because of the policies they bring up out, but when they leave, you wish they weren't leaving. Isn't that strange? I mean, even with Max, he was very strict in his policies. I remember there's a story I always tell about him where he came on sorters when I was on sorters, or was I doing KPI then, I'm not sure. Or was I in quality, I can't remember, but he came on sorters, and he sorted one, and he was walking about and he saw this girl, an agency girl, just standing there. And she'd made all the boxes. There was no work. She'd made all the boxes, small, medium, large, put them on the racks and everything. God, I can visualise that place now. And she was just standing there, and he saw her, and he was renowned for this. And he asked her, why aren't you doing anything? And, she should have just, cup in hand said, sorry, I just to make these boxes, that's it. But she was a bit clever, and she said, well, I've done everything, there's nothing to do. And he sacked her on the spot, which, to be honest with, I know I'm laughing there, but that's just because of the anecdote of how he was like. I suppose that's why he appears in the Dead City somewhere. And but yeah, I didn't like those things. I must admit, that was the one thing I didn't like about the UK, was the permanent agency struggle that was there, that this divide. Although Tony changed that and put it the other way round, and then it became the opposite way around, and it was never equal. Never. It was either one way or the other, and that was always the problem. And I never liked that, because I always saw, it didn't matter to me whether someone was agency or permanent. I saw them as the same, that we were just workers, that we were part of the UK. And, to me, I'd rather everyone was permanent, not because I didn't like agency, but I'd like the agency to be permanent. Because agency tend to be used, and I don't like that. It's like modern day slavery, I think. But when he left, I was quite sad, because he was a character. Even though sometimes you don't like their policies and you don't know what they do, they have character about them. Like the same with Tony, he moved me from sorters, and he gave the sorters to agency, which I bitterly disagreed with, because I thought that every area should have some permanent there, and I thought it was wrong. And I think if you look at how sorters, the quality descended, and when it was all agency, and I don't know where you can put the blame there, but I think there is some extra dedication I think you get when you make someone permanent. Plus, there was the regime there was extreme, to say the least, of who was in charge of sorters, and because of that you got a lot of people coming and going, a lot. More than I've ever known, people coming and going because of the harsh regime, and I use that word probably correctly, that was at sorters. And that probably didn't help for the quality. It might not have been because it was only agency, but just because of the leadership that was there, and because it was made agency only, so they were given that kind of control where they could do stuff that, there was stuff that, just wasn't allowed to be said. And I reported this, but it never... the problem is no one ever had the balls to do anything. No, I might report stuff that was going on to my manager and to the manager of the sorters, that this isn't right, and people shouldn't be saying those types of things. They're not allowed to say those types of things to staff. Almost threatening things. Like, you do overtime, if you don't, then you're out. You don't bother coming back tomorrow. And I was told a lot of these things that was going on because I seemed to be a bit of a bridge, and I reported it, but nothing got done. I don't know if he was told to tone down, the person who was looking after sorters, but and I stand by that. People often ask me to say things because I was the type of person who would, and it wasn't because I was brave, it was because maybe I didn't care, but also I felt, if you have the capacity to tell someone, then you should. Do you know what I mean? If agency can't because they're too scared of losing their job, I'm permanent. I can't lose my job by speaking something that's true. So why not help them out? And I tried that, but unfortunately, in the system of this world, it never matters very much. No one ever takes notice. So I probably didn't get myself a good reputation as a bit of a whistleblower there. Especially in my days of... when I used to fill out our hundreds of not quality. What were they? Slips, trips, and falls. Well, what's the name for that? I've forgotten the name now. Health and safety.